Hello, good morning. Happy Thursday. All right, today, Q&A. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 really good questions. Once again, I feel like these lives are so valuable and I want to keep them as concise as I possibly can, but also provide you with the why and as much information as I possibly can. So first question is about eating before workouts. Should you eat before workouts? Seaweed. What are the benefits of seaweed? Anybody know? Brain fog and lower mood. Thoughts on pre-workout. And last question is about constantly being cold. Does that have anything to do with weight loss? I'm cold. I am cold all the time. I don't know about you, but I have cold hands and feet. I've always blamed it on my height because, it takes a lot of blood flow and circulation to get to my hands and feet, but I know there's underlying issues as to why that could be. But let's start with the first question. Is it okay for me to work out before I have my breakfast? I'll say no right away. There's more to this question. It would be about 1 to 1.25 hours after waking with how long it takes my morning routine and exercises. Or is it okay to have my smoothie while I work out? If you are doing light yoga, if you're going for a walk, something that's like low intensity, then you can probably wait. If you are spinning, running, doing HIIT, doing an exercise class, strength training, which is what this individual is doing, I always recommend that you eat something. Doesn't have to be an entire breakfast. What I would recommend here, because this client does have a lovely nutrient-packed smoothie for breakfast, I would have her make her smoothie first thing, start sipping on that smoothie. Yes, she could drink it during her workout and finish it after. There's nothing wrong with that. A smoothie is just a really good option because it is like quick digesting. It's not going to sit in your stomach. It's not going to make you feel very heavy. So a smoothie, I think, is a great idea. A few years back when I actually left my house to go to a gym, I would have a smoothie. I would make a smoothie first thing in the morning, start sipping that as I'm getting ready. I would be out the door within 20 minutes to go to the gym because I was a early morning gal. And I had such a great workout. And then I would eat my second breakfast about 2 hours later. I know that's not feasible for everybody, but I'm just telling you what worked for me. Now, if you are working out very early in the morning, something simple, like a few scoops of Greek yogurt with some berries. It could be half a banana with some nuts. I have my protein coffee, so I put half a scoop of protein, scoop of collagen, some butter, and I also have started making these apple protein cookies. I think they are like the perfect pre-workout, shall we call it a snack? Because it doesn't make me feel heavy. I eat and drink that and like immediately go downstairs and work out, and I don't feel nauseous or heavy or gross, shall I say that, after eating like a big, large breakfast, for example. So I always recommend that you eat. It is important to just have you balance your blood sugar so you don't feel dizzy. You're going to be able to work out harder. You're going to be able to recover better. It's also very impactful on your cortisol. If you work out on an empty stomach, you just push that breakfast, you are getting your muscles to work, you're increasing intensity, that can just have your cortisol skyrocket, and then you're just on this roller coaster all day of ups and downs with energy, cravings, possibly even poor sleep that night. So I'll leave it at that. Any other questions about that? You can just drop them in the comments. Next question. I know you know a lot about food. I have a coworker who says seaweed is a great food for your brain function. Do you eat seaweed or know anything about it? I actually do eat seaweed. I started eating seaweed about 2 years ago when I started my functional training or education, when I started working with a functional practitioner and then doing the courses myself. Seaweed is great for brain health. It does have, like kelp specifically, does have omega-3s. And omega-3s are just known to be good for brain health. It just reduces inflammation. The other thing, the reason I take kelp and or eat seaweed, and I'm talking like dried seaweed, you can find these little packs of dried seaweed, is for thyroid function. I tend to have very cold hands and feet. That can be associated with less than ideal thyroid function. There's iodine in seaweed, and iodine is very important for thyroid function, for energy production, for metabolism, focus, that sort of thing. So I recommend seaweed to everybody. You don't need to eat it every single day. I will have a seaweed pack 2 times a week, I would say. I try to aim for 3. Doesn't always happen. It's not my favorite thing. I will typically eat it at my desk here as I'm working, so it's kind of like a mindless snack so I can get it down. The only thing that I recommend with them is that you buy seaweed snacks that are made with avocado or olive oil. A lot of them, even the ones at Costco, I won't buy them at Costco because they're made with seed oils, with inflammatory oils, and that creates more inflammation. That's not going to help brain function. So look for some. I can actually share the link. I'll share the link in the comments, the one that I buy after I'm done this live. Let's get to the next question. I'm noticing a heavy brain fog this week and just feeling low in my mood, but I'm not sure if that's just the change in the daylight. Any tips? So very well could be due to the changes in temperature, can be due to just the changes in daylight, could be due to the moon. I haven't even looked at where the moon's at, but I know that I am like heavily influenced by, the moon. It's crazy. And this week I too have been feeling a little off, shall we call it off? Especially beginning part of the week, I seem to be better today, but just feeling like emotional. I could just like cry at the drop of the hat over like the simplest things. I'll watch like a commercial on TV. Again, that could be hormonal as well. Could be fluctuating hormones, which ties into like perimenopause, or even if you're in your 20s or 30s and you're feeling that way, it could be due to your cycle, depending on where you're at in your menstrual cycle. Now, brain fog, that can be tied to so many things. That can be blood sugar, it can be you're not eating enough, it can be you're not sleeping well, it could be hormonal, like I mentioned, can be a sign of being in perimenopause. So if you are feeling just heavy brain fog, I would make sure you're starting your day with like a big breakfast, eating for blood sugar balance. Like I just can't talk about it enough because of the massive impacts that it has on our health. But eating big balanced meals, like avoiding just like grazing or snacking all day, will be helpful. It kind of takes away the food noise as well. And it just gives you a good dose of nutrition, and it helps to prevent cravings and kind of dips ups and downs in mood as well, like I mentioned. So again, any other questions, let me know. And I guess one thing too is I think we just get so caught up, and I shared this with my private community yesterday. We get so caught up in just the day-to-day of like doing all the things and rushing through it. We forget to like enjoy life. We forget to have some fun. And something that Rob and I started doing is just having like random date nights. And that can be like last week we left the house. We went and played some games at an arcade, which was super fun. We just went for an hour to get out of the house. I was like, oh my God, like that was so fun. I always save those things for the weekend, but we've started like implementing them during the week just because both of us do tend to work from home if he's not traveling. And then just like having random game nights, we'll play Yahtzee. We'll have like random movie nights where, yes, we'll like make popcorn and, watch a funny movie. We kind of alternate who chooses the activities. We'll go for a walk like in a different neighborhood. We'll be like the tourist in our own city. Like go do some things in your town, in your city that would typically be tourist attractions per se. Like that is fun, doesn't usually cost too much money, and just allows you to like uplift your mood, connect, bring in some of that social aspect, which I think a lot of people are lacking because we're so tied to these lovely devices and we just spend so much time scrolling and, shall I say, wasting time. We don't all waste time on them, but we can go down that pretty dark scrolling path. Just remember to add some fun too, because that'll just help you to feel better overall. All right, next question. What are my thoughts on pre-workout? Pros and cons. So I'm not a fan of pre-workout whatsoever. And it's mainly due to the ingredients in them. If you want the boost, I will recommend caffeine. But the other things in there, the added colors and flavors and artificial sweeteners, even like the nitric oxide boosters. I don't know if you've ever had pre-workout. It like makes you tingle. Is it the best for you? If you're in perimenopause, if you're like 35 plus, I would stay far, far away. Especially because it's going to create like vasodilation and it's going to mess with your like body temperature. If you're somebody who's dealing with night sweats, if you're somebody who deals with anxiety, if your sleep is poor, if you are like wired but then tired, steer clear. There's really no need to ingest that stimulant, in my opinion. You can, like, hydration is so important. That's energizing. Food, again, food is energizing. If you feel so tired that you need to take a pre-workout before your workout, you're probably not eating enough. You're probably not fueling your body enough. So just give yourself a little bit of an inventory and think about what you're consuming from a food perspective and if you actually need supplements, because supplements are just there to already supplement your great whole food balanced diet. But pros to pre-workout could be increased energy. Of course, like I said, you're getting caffeine in that. Could be increased alertness. Can act like almost like a bit of a placebo and give you motivation to work out. It's almost becomes a ritual. You have your scoop of pre-workout and then you're like, yes, I'm going to go crush a workout. Other than that, I don't see a whole lot of benefits. Cons, like I said, ingredients aren't always the best. Can disrupt your sleep, can make you feel more anxious, can make you feel more moody. Often there's just like hidden ingredients of them. If there's like a proprietary blend in a lot of these products, these companies don't have to divulge what's actually in these products. So you could be getting more or less of certain ingredients. I don't know why that's not controlled, but that's just the way she goes. And then, like I said, just tolerance to them. You don't know how it's actually impacting you, and it very well could be messing with your hormones, your cortisol, your sleep, your mood. That's my 2 cents. Let's get to the last one. I'm constantly cold the last few months. Does that have anything to do with losing weight? Yes, it absolutely can. It can also be due to lower functioning thyroid. So with weight loss, you're going to have less insulation. If you lose, and I say weight loss, it's more so fat loss, because if I say weight loss, you could actually be losing muscle mass. But as I say that, if you lose muscle as well, you can generate less heat, because muscle is a very active tissue. It burns calories. It keeps us warm. So I guess if it's weight loss or fat loss, yes, you can have changes in your body's ability to regulate body temperature. But as I said, less insulation, body fat is protective. It's insulating. So very well could lead to you feeling more cold. Lower energy intake. So if you're in a deficit, if you're in a fat loss phase, your body may conserve energy by lowering your metabolic rate. And your metabolism's not just how much fat you burn, but it's like energy, and it's also body temperature. Like, so yes, being in a calorie deficit, losing body fat, lower energy intake can have your body like down regulate. And if you've ever been in a fat loss phase, you can't just stay at that calorie range. Your body's going to get used to it, and then you have to lower again. And then sometimes you have to lower again. And then I'll take clients out of their fat loss phase, what we call a diet break or a reverse diet. And then we try again. It's all to protect your metabolism, because your body is just so incredibly smart. Also, hormonal shifts. It will impact your thyroid. And your thyroid, like I said, is responsible for regulating your body temperature, your thyroid, your metabolism. They're all connected. So you may feel cold. As I mentioned at the beginning of this live, I always have cold hands and feet. Like, my hands are friggin' frozen right now. I could probably put some mitts on. I'm not dieting. I eat plenty of food. I eat 21 to 25, sometimes 3,000 calories. I'm all over the place with my calorie range. I'm not trying to diet. I'm just maintaining, living life, trying to get as strong as possible. And I still have cold hands and feet. Is it due to my height, because I'm such a tall human? I don't know. We can't seem to figure it out. It hasn't bothered me a whole lot. I wear mitts. I wear socks. Most of the time, I wear a lot of clothing, and that's what tends to keep me warm. So I will leave it at that. Any other questions, any comments, please let me know, and have an amazing Thursday.